I'm telling you guys, the A's gained far more from Saturday's clawback win than any 2 of 3 series in April ever could. I'm telling you, they're picking each other up. They're generating runs however they can. 13 pitch at bats, 12 pitch at bats, 11 pitch at bats. This team is getting an identity where nobody gives up. Don't get stressed. It's warming up, peeps, and we got this. What is up, A's faithful? Welcome to the Habit Hunter A's podcast and the House Always Wins podcast network. I'm Tim Burns. You can call me Hobbs. I'm a sports writer covering the athletics for the guys at Mid-Valley Sports out of Los Angeles, where I cover the amazing A's as well as the entire NFL desk. You can find me at Sacktown A's Fans for Life on X and this, the Habit Hunter podcast. Now, Habit Hunter, it's a show that reviews every series. We analyze trends together, tendencies, both good and bad. We cover what players are trending up or down and analyze moves that Kotsay makes, management make, ownership make. We got to keep an eye on ownership. We identify problems A's players might be developing and look for solutions. We have already identified a few trends. We saw Luis Morales' arm issues weeks before he was sent down to AAA for a tune-up. We saw that coming. Together, we are the Habit Hunters. Remember to click like and subscribe. I know everybody asks that, but it keeps a massive amount of A's content in the algorithm. The shows on this network, they totally shred. They're smart, talented guys who love the game of baseball. We'll do roll call at the end of today's show and see how the players and the team are doing after the Chicago series. So hang out until the end. Roll call is my favorite part of the show, so definitely stay tuned for that. With that, let's get cracking on the breakdown of the White Sox series. Now, settle down, okay? The honeymoon is over. Our window of solid starting pitching is closing up a bit, right? The starters in this series gave up 17 earned runs. And it's hard to play from behind like we did. We spotted 3-0, 4-0, and 5-0, 5-run leads, right? This is kind of like taking bad medicine. You're going to get through it, and we're all going to be better for it, right? Because we're going to know what's going on. We're going to know why, and we're going to know going forward what we might be looking for, right? So Friday night was one of the more uninspiring games all year, right? Just a bad start for Savali and the bats. I mean, we got to talk about it, though. I had the A's winning 2 of 3 versus the White Sox. A lot of people were saying, sweep. I don't like that. I don't like just rolling out the sweep thing because in 3 games in a row, a team usually finds a way, right? Not a tremendous amount of sweeps. But I thought it would be Severino with the iffy game of the series. Now, don't get me wrong, Severino had an iffy game in the series, but it was also this game, and it was also the last game. White Sox starter Davis Martin, man, he looked like Tom Glavine. I kept thinking that just by the way he was rolling stuff out, he was in a groove. He went 7 innings. He only gave up 3 hits and a couple of walks. He only struck out 4. Now, we did pretty good on the strikeout through the first 2 games, I'm going to tell you. Not what we're used to. We're used to a lot more strikeouts, but we did pretty good this series overall. With this win, he moved to 3-1, and he had a 2.16 after this game. So you can see how and why we were shut down. The guy's filthy right now. The guy's absolutely filthy. And we've been seeing a lot of filthy pitchers, especially starting pitching. The first time through the lineup in this game was about as sad as I've ever seen 3 innings. I'm going to tell you. Let me say. It took 20 pitches to drop the first 9 A's batters. We went 20 pitches to go through the first 3 innings. That's a stunningly low number of pitches. I mean, you figure, once you get down to the 7, 8, 9 guy, you might want to just stand there or something, man. Just get some pitches in, right? Anyway, I know that has a lot to do with, what they're choosing to throw out the first inning, but I get it. A's starter Aaron Savali was having his own issues with his cutter. Was sitting out there waiting to be smacked around, and he had trouble every inning. And he came in, and he was a stud coming in, and he had trouble every inning. In the first, after a leadoff double by Andrew Benintendi, you're going to hear about him. 2 batters later, Colson Montgomery drove him in with his own double. Montgomery, he terrorized us all week. I'm telling you. Savali gave up back-to-back singles in the second, but we got out of the inning. In the third, back-to-back singles and a hit batter. 3 of those 4 reaching. It brought the score to 3-0 real quick. And like I said, we're giving these leads. It's really hard to catch up, and we do on Saturday. But so after going down 3-0, Savali stopped throwing cutters. Right? He's like, I kind of got the clue. And I got the final 2 outs pretty quick. He loaded the bases again in the fourth with 2 singles and an intentional walk to Montgomery, because he had already touched him up. It worked. He got out of the inning without giving up a run. But again, man, traffic was heavy. And this is the way it was all series. I mean, the White Sox pretty much put their foot on the pedal and at the plate and just kept churning out hits and runs. It was pretty harsh. But the A's did break through in the fourth. All right. Kurt's RBI single to drive in Shea Langoliers. Now, Shea had just doubled, but any rally was crushed. Double play, Tyler Soderstrom. He had a rough series. He really did. Let's see. Edgar Caro, he singled, and Luis Angel Acuna, he doubled him in. And that was Savali's day. Now, Savali just lasted 4 2/3. He gave up 11 hits, right? That's a lot. 3 doubles, walked 1, struck out 4. He had 5 earned runs. Like I said, everybody had 5 or more, right? Elvis Alvarado, he relieved him, but he gave up Benintendi's second RBI double before finishing the 5th. He had a solid 1, 2, 3, 6, but melted down completely in the 7th. And I was on the chat with the network creators. For the House Always Wins podcast network. And we were, well, at least I was surprised. We were talking about it. I was surprised he came out for another inning. He had already had 15 pitches. He was part of 2 innings. So Kotsay decided he was long relief that day, and it didn't go well. Elvis walked the first White Sox hitter, and Shea threw him out at second, which was cool. But he wanted to load them back up, huh? He walked the next 2, and then he gave up a single. He loaded the bases for Munetaka Murakami. Yeah, I have to practice that. I had to practice that. Say that 3 times fast. It's difficult. We're going to talk about him. He hit it 114 plus off the bat, 431. I mean, remember I talk about it, that perfect strike zone box that they show you on, like if you're looking on ESPN or whatever. Now imagine that strike box, right? Now put a dot in the middle of the damn box. And that's pretty much where it was. And that's pretty much where he made contact, right? Alvarado dotted that one right down the middle, and he dotted that one right out the park. Now, while he was melting down, the guys and I could see that Kotsay wasn't going to save him, right? You could see it, right? Even after the second walk, nobody was up in the bullpen. And after the third walk, nobody was up in the bullpen. Finally, after the single to load the bases, Justin Sterner started warming up. So we were thinking he's going to ride Elvis hard, and then he's going to be sent down. And sure enough, woke up the next morning. He was returned to AAA for Mason Barnett. Saturday morning, bright and early, Mason Barnett. He's coming up. We actually used him today, and got a couple innings out of him. Good game for him. Anyway, the A's got their other run in the bottom half of the 8th inning, beginning with Max Muncy walk. Thank you. Didn't strike out. And Denzel Clark singled. Thank God he didn't strike out, right? Andy Ibanez pinch hit. He had a ground out for the RBI, and that was it for the scoring. That was it. It was a horrible loss. I mean, overall, basically it was Kurt singled and he walked a couple of times. Shea went 1 for 4 with a double. McNeil 1 for 3 with a double. That's it. But, I mean, that was pretty much the most horrible game leading off the series that I've watched this year. But at least we get to talk about this amazing win, right? Saturday. Did you guys catch Saturday's extra innings? 7-6. I'm not even sure where to start. But the scoring began with basically Luis Severino serving up a 5 spot in the second inning. It was the same culprits who terrorized the A's Friday night, right? And Sunday, for that matter. all series. These same guys popped up: Montgomery and Benintendi and Murakama. Anyway, Colson Montgomery, he hit the first pitch of the second inning for a home run. It snowballed. After a double and a walk and an RBI single by Reese McGuire, Andrew Benintendi, 3-run homer, put up Chicago 5-0, just like that, right? It looked bleak. And it had me wondering, I'm like, if the sweep, like everybody, like Dallas Braden, the guys on the network, some of my friends here, basically thinking the A's were going to sweep, but I was starting to think maybe the White Sox were going to sweep because it didn't look good. It did not look good. But the A's showed some patience and heart. And I think that that's what we're getting out of this series. That's where I'm going to go with it, right? I mean, we gave up 8 doubles and 8 home runs, and we still won a game, right? I mean, we had to sweat this one out, but we got it, right? Jacob Wilson, he answered with a solo homer in the bottom half of the second, so we were 5-1. Now, Wilson went 2 for 6. With this home run, to this point, 2 runs scored Saturday, including a spoiler alert. It was the game winner of this one. Wilson got a hold of it, 2 for 6, 2 runs scored. Now, Severino, he continued to struggle. Now, a double play helped Sev out of bases loaded in the third. But we're going to talk about double plays because it happens more than once. Butler made it 5-2. He walked. He stole second. We had some small ball going again. We liked that. And he scored on a McNeil sac fly. Hey, any way we can get runs, we banged. We battled to get these runs. Butler, he went 1 for 3 on the day. He had a double, 2 walks, 2 stolen bases, right? And he reached 4 times. That's a beast mode day. And we'll talk about that later. The overall stats may not look good, but I love this day. This is all a Butler. I loved it. Sev was saved by the 3 double plays in the start. And he left a lot of batters stranded. Now, I went and I looked back. And Sev has been saved by double plays 7 times this season. He's only got 5 starts. He's already been saved 7 times. So 7 innings. He got out of an inning or something. After drawing a walk, Austin Wynn scored on a Soderstrom single. Now we got within 5-3. That was in the 5th. And then the A's got another run in the 6th when Muncy finally came out of his bad strikeout thing and he tripled. We got to talk about Muncy for a second. His strikeout rate is inching towards Denzel Clark rate, right? It's 40%-ish. I mean, you can't strike out almost half the time. You just can't. And he had so much power going, but I think people have adjusted, so he's got to adjust. Anyway, he scored the A's 4th run on McNeil sac fly. Now, Severino, he finished with a no decision. Thank God, right? Can you imagine how much he would assess about the mound if he was 0-3, right? Like if it was a loss and he went 0-3. I have to point this out because I reamed him about his whining at the last outing, bitching about the mound, right? This time, he owned the outing in the postgame presser, right? That's some maturity. I wanted to see that coming out the gate, and we didn't. So I was a little worried. He calmed down. He took his lumps, man. That's props. Yeah. Props on that. I love that. 5 1/3 innings, 5 hits, 5 earned, 4 walks. That's our issues, man. Him, walks and homers. Only 3 strikeouts. We gave up a lot of home runs. Well, we got a few too in this series. But yeah, you can't allow 8 bombs in 3 games. You can't. Hogan Harris, he gave up a solo shot in the 7th to Munetaka Murakami. And yes, I practiced the name again. Solo homer, stretched that lead back up to 2 runs, 6-4. He's the one, obviously, hit the grand slam Friday night. After Shea singled in the bottom of the 7th, over 110 off the bat, Kurtz finally went yard again. I mean, this thing was a missile. It was awesome. 115.1 off the bat. I kind of heard someone say it, but I don't know. I didn't verify it, but I did hear something like that was the hardest hit ball home run that he's hit or something like that. I don't know, but it would seem 115 is pretty damn hard, right? But that tied the game, right? A's did all they could to score in the 8th. Butler led off with a double, and he was thrown out at 3rd trying to stretch it into a triple. Now, was it dumb? It was stupid. It was stupid. With nobody out, come on, man. You have to hold up at second, and then work your way in, right? But I love that he did it. I really do. I do, because that showed he was going for it, right? He understood. Hey, let's go get this win, right? So I loved it. So you're going to hear people yelling about that a little bit, but in my opinion, I'm fine with it. With 2 outs, the A's went walk, single, walk. So after we lost that, right? With 2 outs, we went walk, single, walk at the top of the order to load the bases, but we just couldn't get them in. And I was going, oh my God, we're going to lose. We're going to so lose, and we're going to have all these loaded bases and 2 on and that kind of thing where we didn't score, right? A's put 2 on in the 9th. They loaded the bases in the 10th. Obviously, you start with someone on second, but we loaded the bases in the 10th, failed to score, right? I mean, you're like, oh, we're doomed. You start thinking we're doomed, right? But the White Sox were having the same issue at the time. Joel Cunell, I love this guy, man. Somebody said we're going to start a fan club, and I agree. I'm in. Just count me in now. I love this guy. Love this kid. He straddled the 7th and 8th innings and allowed only 1 hit in 1 1/3. Now, Mark Leiter does what Mark Leiter does, and he walked 2. But then he struck out 1 in the 9th and had to be bailed out by Jack Perkins. Love Perkins. He's my new favorite guy. Perkins walked the first batter he faced, though, to load the bases, but he finished off the 9th. He hit a batter in the 10th. All right, he hit a batter in the 10th, but you had somebody starting on second. So, is that one going to really, I guess it does matter, but you know what I'm saying? He loaded the bases in the 11th, but he nutted up. And I'm going to tell you a quick story. I got so sick right when he threw the first strikeout, and I was like, oh, I got to go get sick. I left, and I came back, and it was over. I had to watch it not live, and it just broke me. But anyway, he had nutted up and struck out the first guy, the one when I ran off. He struck out 2. He ended the threat. All right. So we actually had an opportunity. Ace finished it off with Wilson starting at second in the bottom of the 11th. Denzel sacrificed, bunted him to third. Thank you, Denzel. Max Muncy, he hit an RBI sac fly for an improbable victory, right? Given the 5-hole start to the game, it was pretty incredible that we actually got a win out of that. It was everyone eats day at the plate, though. Shea, 2 for 5, walk. He reached 3. He had a run, reached 3 times. Kurtz, 2 for 3, 3 walks, home run scored, 2 RBIs. He reached 5 times. Oh my! First 2 games, he had reached 8 of 10 at bats. That's crazy. Leave him in the 3-hole, okay, Katse, please. He reached 8 of 10 times. Leave him there. Sodi, 1 for 5 with a walk. He had an RBI. I'll give him that. Muncy, 1 for 5, a triple, and a run, and the winning RBI. So again, just when you're upset with somebody, they actually contribute. And I think that's kind of what like Clark does, and where everybody just kind of contributes what they contribute. Just enough. Their overall is meh, but boom, they have this thing that they always manage to keep doing, whether it's Cortez doing long at bats, right? The 8, 7, 8, 9 pitch at bats, that kind of thing. That's what we want to see. And I want to shine a light again on Butler. 1 for 3 with the double, 2 walks, 2 stolen bases, run, RBI. He filled my car with gas. He mowed my lawn. I'm telling you, man, he did everything. But I wish it would have rolled over, because in the finale, A's went up against 6'10" Noah Schultz. Springs did not start like we normally see him, and he followed Seven Savali's bad outing, guys. He gave up 7 earned runs. It was brutal. First pitch single to start the game, so you knew, oh, what are we doing? Walk, single. We were down 1-0 before I even got comfortable. I mean, kind of reminded me of the opener last year when we lost 18-3. Like, I didn't even sit down. It was 5-zip or something. Anyway, in the second, Chicago's Derek Hill homered. Now, he's a Elk Grove product. Here, I think he went to UC Davis, which is right down the road. That's about 8 miles up the road from me. Elk Grove High School, I believe, is where he was from. Great program. Great program. A lot of great athletes come out of Elk Grove. Bill Cartwright, basketball player. He came out there too. Anyway, after a double, Miguel Vargas had a 2-run shot. It was like 4-0. Boom, just like that. Daryl Hernandez homered to get one back in the second, but that was pretty much it through 6 innings for us. Murakami, now he hit a 2-run homer in the 5th, and he admired it, in my opinion, a bit too long for me because I'm kind of old school. You have to earn the stripes, right? He hasn't earned the stripes to sit and stare at his handiwork. Now, granted, it's his 3rd home run of the series versus the A's, but he has 72 career at bats, man. Take your big butt around the bases. Just take your butt around the bases. Shut up. Be thankful you got one, right? I say he needed one in the thigh for that 7. It was like 7 seconds. You sat there and watched it. But, what are you going to do? I'm a little less forgiving, I guess. Colson went yard later in the inning. And that's 4 home runs given up for Springs. He lasted 5 innings. He gave up 2 doubles, 9 total hits, the 4 home runs, right? Only 1 walk, which is good because we're usually giving up 4 or 5, right? From the starter, 7 Ks, but 7 earned. That's 17 earned for 3 starters. You're not going to win a series that way, guys. We just aren't. I'm sorry that we got to sit and talk about it, but hey, this is how we figure out who's doing well and who isn't, right? Mason Barnett, he just got brought up. 1, 2, 3, 6 to relieve Springs. And with this game where it was, we were figuring he's gonna be in it to save the bullpen for the Seattle series. And he walked the first batter in the 7th, but he set the next 3 down, right? In the 7th, the A's made it interesting. Sodi doubled. Hernandez, he had a 12-pitch walk. So I had to check it out, man. I'm like, 12 pitches, really? Record 17 for the A's. In how long history we got, right? Well over a century. The league record, 21. He had a 12-pitch walk. Pretty cool. Zach Geloff, he hit a 2-out, 2 RBI double and took 3rd on the throw. I'm really impressed with Geloff. I'll talk about that in a second. Wild pitch scored Geloff from 3rd during an 11-pitch pop-out from Wilson. So Wilson never gets on, right? But he stretched out his at-bat to 11 pitches. Now, what's cool is it was the same inning. 12-pitch walk, right, for Hernandez, an 11-pitch from Wilson. But it was 2 different pitchers. So you're seeing something, right? Yeah, we got spanked too. But these guys are still trying to reach out and grab everything that they can. And that's Hart. I will gladly take a loss just to see Hart like that. We haven't seen a lot of that. I'm going to be honest. A lot of mellowness coming out of the gate. A lot of melancholy at bats going first time through the order. You go back and look at those first 9 through every game, and you see a pattern. 1 hit, a walk. That's it. 5 strikeouts, 4 strikeouts. See, you can't have that, right? Right? Anyway, that wild pitch scored Geloff from 3rd, and that run was basically all Geloff. Think about that. He grabbed an extra 90 feet after the double, right, because they were throwing home. So he took off and nailed 3rd, and then he sprinted home. Second that ball was by. Booyah! Gone, right? He went and scored. And I felt like we were in it still, right? This team didn't give up. It didn't give up, but that was it for the A's at the plate. Aside of Geloff's 2 RBIs, only Hernandez had a good day. Home run, 2 walks. He showed a lot of patience. Now, I like this part of the show, I'm going to tell you, even though we had a bad series, all right? It's our first series loss since, the Braves. So, I mean, come on. We've had a good run. Let's turn it around, though. It's my favorite part of the show. It's time for roll call. So, after 7 series, we are now fully into the season. This is me. No more talking. It's a slow start or they're working on things. It's time to get into the groove of the season. There's no more excusing players. I'm sorry. 7 series have gone by. It's time. Okay? We need to start taking care of people who are doing well and send people down who need to be sent down. I won't dwell in too much on that, but no matter what, through all of this, we're still in first place, guys. We're still in first place. We're still tied atop the AL West, right? Heading to Seattle. We sit at 11-11. All right. People were talking 14-16 after 30 games, and we are definitely going to exceed that. Of this, I guarantee you, we are going to have more than 14 wins before we hit 30 games. Guarantee it. The team came in batting .234, and they were around 15th, 17th in about every offensive category, basically all the major ones. And this week, the bats didn't help much. The average dropped .228. That's not good. That's not great, right? A lot of wasted at bats, in my opinion. The Arms had a rough week. With Spring, 7 earned runs today. Savali and Sev both gave up 5 earned runs in their starts. The Athletics came in with a 4.47 ERA. Now the Arms are trending poorly. For the second series in a row, they're adding almost a half a run in an ERA. So right now we're at 4.82. Individually, I'm going to point this out. Shea Langoliers, he has hit safely in 15 or 21 games. All right. 10 multi-hit games. He leads baseball. Okay. He batted .333 in his last 10 games. The guy's on a roll. He's batting .310. And that's 10th in baseball. We're getting everything and more out of this guy. Even through the slump, he's still batting .310, right? Because he had a little bit of a slump there. Kurtz, his bat woke up a little bit. He's dialing in at the plate. He reached base 9 of 13 times. He batted .375 for the series, and he's walked in 10 straight games. I'll tell you about that. That's the longest streak since Jack Cust. Who doesn't like talking about Jack Cust? Whenever you say Jack Cust, you just get this warm and like Stephen Vogt, man. You just get this, oh, yes. You know, you just root for this dude, right? He had 10 straight games back in 2008. He also Kurtz, he also leads baseball with 24 walks. They're scared to throw to him right now. He's seeing a lot of 2-0 and 3-0 counts of late, like the last maybe 6-7 games. You're starting to see it. Sodi has twice as many strikeouts as hits in this series. So he did have an RBI. He did have his double. Okay. I'm not stressed yet. I'll tell you what, though, no matter that he had only a couple of hits, right? I don't like him being put down to 6th in the lineup with Rooker missing. No, you keep Mr. RBI leader a little higher, okay? 6 is not the place for him to be. And you don't put, I'll say it, you don't put Andy Ibanez cleanup. What are you doing? The guy's batting like 130. Anyway, Jacob Wilson, 60 games errorless streak at shortstop. It's a standard now for the A's. Massive accomplishment at shortstop. He went 3 for 15 in the series with a homer. Butler series, I talked about it already. His value was apparent Saturday, and while the stats don't show it, he had a solid series. Stolen bases, his RBI after Muncie's triple. He was down 0-2 and he got that RBI, right? So the guy did things when it counted. Muncie, he looks horrible. He had the triple. 1 for 11. His K rate hovering around 40%. That said, the triple he scored thanks to Butler, and he had the game-winning RBI of the game. So the game winner. So he's heading in a better direction. I mean, there's ebbs and flows, right? Poor streaks do happen. And Clark is Clark. Amazing defense. It blinds the at-bats, right? He was 1 for 7. We're going to leave it at that. You know, we haven't seen more than 2 in a series, so we kind of know that's what we're getting, right? I've given up. Jeff McNeil has cooled off. 1 for 6. Pretty much since New York, right? Cortez since New York. 3 for 16 since New York. Not doing well. Still not horrible. Still good at best, just he's cooled off. The Arms, they suffered another casualty. Elvis Alvarado was sent down, and Mason Barnett again was brought up. For that matter, Elvis Alvarado was probably set down during his appearance on Friday. It was that bad and that long. Let's see. Mason Barnett, he was brought up 2 innings, 1 hit scoreless. Seb is 0-2. His ERA is creeping a little north. Springs, he got blown up today, but he's still 3-1, 3.34 ERA. Yeah, he doesn't get his name in the top 5. Who the hell cares? He's still 3-1, right? We still got more than we expected, right? Savali, he came back to earth. Let's hope for a rebound in Seattle for him, right? And like I said, I was going to talk about Joe Cunell. Recent call-up, ERA 0, 6 games, 6 innings, 3 saves, 3 chances at a save. That's more than we could ever have expected out of this guy. I love it that he's succeeding. As a whole, that is a team that, in my opinion, this whole here, looked past Chicago. That's what happened in the last 3 days. We looked past Chicago and we got outplayed, right? We got steamrolled. New series against a team we know a lot about in the Mariners. That's all I got. So let's go get that, right? Let's go get 2 or 3 in Seattle and get first place all by ourselves, right? All right. I'll talk to you guys soon. See you on Thursday. Peace.